Oh, I've been having a palaver tonight and it's live. I'm sorry I'm having to do it in this way. It's not allowing me to change the screen. It's really playing up. If you're new to the channel, I do a live on every Tuesday and Thursday. It's not normally this crazy. I'm normally on from 8 o'clock. No, I'm not sweating. I've been given this new fan which sprays water on you, which is fabulous. We're actually having a bit of summer, should I say, here in England at the minute. So we're enjoying it. It's either where you burn alive in bed of a night or you freeze. That's our weather at the minute. And at the minute, this is what we're having. But I'm having a bit of a nightmare tonight on my live. So I don't even know if anyone's going to join me because I'm normally here at 8 o'clock. And I'm very late. Hey, sis. Oh, God, look at this. Look, say, if you are watching tomorrow, sorry about the portrait. YouTube's not allowing me to do it on a landscape for some unknown reason. Hi, Hayley. How we doing? I'm sorry. I was ready to go. I've been ready to go for ages. It's done this before where I've had to... Oh, no, Hayley, it's done this before. I went live. I actually went live about 10 minutes ago and I had to delete it because it's not allowing me to do it on landscape. It's only allowing me to do it in portrait, which I hate. I hate doing it like this. Hey, Warwick, how we doing? So I've been on and off, restarting my phone and everything else, and it's just, this is how it's allowing me to do it. So really don't like it this way, though. Really don't. Like, it just will not allow me. Hang on. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, I'm just messing about now. Look what I'm doing. Yeah, I don't know what's going on tonight. It's just really playing up. But on another note, do you want to see what I've got? It doesn't. From my side, when I've got it in horizontal, my comment, look at what I'm having to do with my arms. I'm having to put my arms like this. Look. And the comments are down this side and I can just focus here. But now the comments are coming up from the bottom. So I'm not even really seeing my face. I'm seeing the comments coming up from the bottom. It's really playing up tonight. I don't know what YouTube are playing at the minute at all, but it just wouldn't let me change the screen. And then when I was going live, it was saying, no, you've got to have it in portrait. It's done it once before. I don't know why it's done it again this time, but I'll sort it out. Normally, you can't tell until you're about to go live when it's in an advanced settings type thing. And yeah, that's when I noticed. But anyway, we're going to have to do it like this tonight. How are we all? How are we? Look at my fabulous things. So I'm not all sweaty while I'm talking to you. I might have to. I've got to admit, it should be okay. It should be fine. It's just, yeah, I don't like putting it up in landscape. This is landscape. Yeah, that's horizontal. No, portrait. Sorry, I don't like putting it up in portrait. Can't stand it. It's just, it looks ridiculous. It just looks ridiculous. How are we all anyway? How are we? Who have we got? I said hello to Warwick and Hayley and the moderator extraordinaire. How are we all? Are we all okay? Guess whose birthday is on Sunday? You don't need to because it's mine. And you know what I'm going to get? I'm going to get a new mic. Thank you to my Patreons. Look at this. You can't even see where my hands have gone. Look, if I wanted to show you my elbow, I wouldn't be able to. Just a nightmare. Look. Everything's off screen. You can't see my thing. I like to have that as well. You can't see anything. I'm just gonna moan about this for the whole live. You watch. This is gonna be a big thing. Can you hear spraying? That's the fan. It sprays water and then you just go. Do me a favour. Can you hear it though? Can you hear like a buzzing under the camera? Can you hear it? Oh no, how am I going to do my... It's going to have to be like this, isn't it? It's going to have to be like this up at the camera. Why does he have to be good to? Yes, he does, because he's coming from under here. I can see everything. I can't even phase out. Hi, Jamal. How you doing? How are you? How's it going? Is this your first time here? I'm sorry. We're just having a bit of a palaver this evening, I'm afraid. No, it's not my rabbit. It's this. See, I knew you'd started. Okay. Technicians. Don't deserve to be in the light of God. I don't deserve the simple life. Probably my last words. Oh, okay. Okay. Have I ever voiced a cartoon? No. No. Me? No. Do I sound like Meg? Well, more Lucky Locker though. Not Meg, obviously. Is that at me? I'm assuming it is. It looks like we've got a couple of new people. Oh, are they? Why are they going? Are you jumping on board? Are you jumping on, moderator? Is that what's going on? It's all very odd, isn't it? I knew when the numbers was going up, I was like, wow, wow. Okay, right, okay. We had God-fearing people here and all sorts, but takes everyone. Hi, hi, Bradley. Hi, hi. What's going on? I don't know what's happening. If you all want to stay, look, stay. It's fine. If you, she's not going to allow. She's not going to allow us to stay. I don't know what's happening. Hey, Bradley, I'm sorry. There's a moderator in there and she's brutal. So, yeah, just letting you know. Okay, fine. She's got it. Okay, so for anyone new, welcome to my channel. It's obviously True Crime with Jess Rose. I do a live on a Tuesday and a Thursday at 8 o'clock. I'm having a palaver tonight. I don't know what's going on in the comments. And I'm normally on a landscape. You're going to hear me moaning about it all night. Something's going on with YouTube, so we're doing it in portrait tonight. But I'm having to put my arms like this. So I'm not happy about it because I talk with my hands. So anyway, okay, excellent. That sounds like a plan. Yeah. Bradley and Jamal, if you are still there, my moderator is she's pretty brutal. So just to let you know, she yeah, she comes flowing in, bless her, with her little size sixes. So just letting you know. Okay. Well, on that note, I might start. Oh, it's gonna be a fun night tonight. I don't know what's going on, but it's gonna be a fun night. Warwick, Hayley, and Tiffany, Bradley, I'm giving you a heads up. You won't last. She's gonna come at you. Right, but we're gonna start anyway. If you are here for the story, oh God, it's technical. What's going on? I don't know what's happening. And I haven't got it in the side screen. So I can see all the comments before I start. Right, okay, we're going to try and concentrate. We're going to try and battle through tonight. I'm sorry if you're watching tomorrow. Phil, who's obviously off watching the England game tonight. I'm going to start in a second. Okay. I'm not going to start in a second. I'm actually going to start now. So it's the appalling Jeremiah Valencia story. Awful story. Is about a child. So just to give you a heads up there, that's what it's about. And thank you, Bradley. I'm here on a Thursday, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 o'clock. Just let you know. And subscribe if you like. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll do a jingle at the end. Anyway, right, so the appalling, so excuse me, Jeremiah Valencia story. All right, like I say, it is a child. I'm not going to do any trigger warnings or anything like that. It is just to let you know, obviously, if oh, thank you. If a child's too far for you, it's just to let you know that's what this story is entailing. So, okay. So, Jeremiah Valencia, his mum called Tracy Ann Penner, and his dad, Andrew Valencia. Now, Jeremiah Andrew Valencia was born on the 5th of December 2003 in New Mexico. He had a sister that was born literally less than a year after him. So I think they're Irish twins. I think that's what the term is. Now, Jeremiah, from everything I've seen and everything I've researched, seemed like he was a lovely boy. Quiet, but loved music. He enjoyed mechanics. His teachers said he was very popular. He looked out for all his peers. If anyone was a bit quiet, a bit lonely, possibly getting picked on, he was the type of lad to get involved, make them feel comfortable, help them out. Said he loved camping and fishing, and his ambition was to be a professional basketball player, and just out and out, just a really nice lad. Now, his mum and dad, they broke up when Jeremiah was between 5 and 6. I've got them as breaking up, which would have been around the 2008-2009 mark. Now, in 2011, when he was about 8, Tracy had begun to be investigated by Child Services for accusations of basically abuse and neglect. She was getting into trouble herself, Tracy was. Petty theft, drug crimes. Not exactly your hallmark mum out there, to be honest, given everything I've seen. So Jeremiah and his little sister were actually first moved in with their aunt and uncle, and it says that they applied for temporary guardianship over the two of them. And once they were placed with the aunt and uncle, they were then, the file was then, closed from CPS, which was really soon, to be honest, but file was closed. It seemed, and now I could have the timings wrong, but it seemed quite soon after that, Jeremiah and his sister actually moved to live with their grandparents. Again, should have been okay. But there are text messages that have been found of Jeremiah's where around this time he was talking to some friends from school and basically saying his mum's gone off the rails again, and he just sounds like he was getting really lonely, Jeremiah was, and he just wanted his mum, to be honest. And for whatever reason, the kids do end up going back to Tracy. So we get to February 2017, and about this point, Jeremiah's around 13 years of age. And for whatever reason, Tracy takes the kids out of school. Now, what she tells the one school, she says, right, we're moving, and they're going to be going to school in a different area. And there was no kind of connection between the two schools to see, did they start at that school, how they were getting on. There was no sort of tracing of these two children at that point. Okay. So then we get to June 2017, all right? And Tracy moves the kids to a place called Namby in New Mexico, which was where she apparently said she was going to be sending them to school, but she doesn't. It's very, very odd. But she moves the kids in with her and her new partner. Her new partner is a gentleman by the name of Thomas Ferguson. Okay. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about Thomas before we carry on. Thomas himself had a few kids. He was originally married to a lady by the name of Amanda Nunes. Okay. He had a son called Jordan Nunes. Okay. Now, a little bit about Thomas in these dates, they just bring us up to date, but you don't need to, they're not part of the story, if you get what I mean, but I'll just go through them. So back in 97, he was done for possession of, drug possession. 2003, he had, remember I said Amanda Nunes, he was actually done for beating her while she was holding their baby being Jordan Nunes. She had lasted 16 years with Thomas, but she got rid of him at this point. Then around 2014, he was done for beating, kidnapping and raping a girlfriend on Valentine's Day. He's such a catch. Score, Amanda. Tracy and Amanda. Right, okay. 2016, he got done for beating another girlfriend. He's marvellous, isn't he? Such a catch, this guy. Okay. Now, when Jordan had been born, remember I mentioned Jordan, his son, with Amanda. When he'd been born, so it's not just women he starts on. He thought that Jordan looked a little bit more like, well, he's a different skin shade to him. So he decided to punch him in the chest. His son, do you want me to tell you how old his son was at the time? He was 2 months old. 2 months. 8 weeks. While Amanda was holding the baby, he punched the baby in the chest. So this is the type of man that Tracy and Penna has brought into the lives of her son, Jeremiah, and his little sister. Okay. This is who she's brought into their lives. She's marvellous. Now, just while we're on the subject, now remember Jordan Nunes, which is obviously Thomas's son, who he punched in the chest as a baby. Well, Amanda had gotten away from Thomas, and you think, thank God. And she was a bit paranoid at first, so she'd get the police to kind of scope out the house of where they were living, make sure he wasn't hiding anywhere. For a while, she obviously had PTSD, that's right, from being with him. But then she goes off the rails, Amanda does. So Jordan himself found himself bounced from pillar to post over the years. In fact, he'd been in 11 different homes in 11 years. But eventually, he ends up with his grandparents, Jordan does. And you could think, okay, maybe just out of all of this, he might be okay. But at the age of 18, Jordan thinks, do you know who I want to meet back up with? Do you know who I want to meet back up with? I want to meet up with my dad, who was punching me while I was a baby and who was beating my mum to an inch of her life. That's who I want to reconnect with, because I feel like I've been missing him my whole life. So, like I say, when he was 18, Jordan reconnects with his dad, And he also moves in. So you now have, in the one household, you have Thomas with his son Jordan, and then you have Tracy with her two kids, Jeremiah and his younger sister. I keep saying younger sister because during all this, she's obviously a minor and her name's been kept hidden. If her name's out there, I certainly haven't heard it. And to be quite honest, I probably wouldn't say it anyway. You know, there's no reason to release her details. So there is the five of them living in this home. So you could think, well, okay, maybe they can, you know, have a blended family and maybe move on from the sins of the past. No, it's not that kind of channel. We know that, don't we? So, okay. So the family, I'm going to do this. They were living there. They had a couple of dogs who had puppies, who Jeremiah, bless him, loved more than anything. And the neighbours used to see Jeremiah in the garden, sometimes with his sister, playing with the dogs. And one of the neighbours turned around and he says it was the oddest thing. He says it looked like that these dogs were Jeremiah's best friends and only friends, to be honest, which I thought was really quite sad. So we get to July 2017, okay? In July 2017, Thomas misses his probation meeting, right? For some of his various crimes over the years. So he misses his probation meeting, August 17. He's now classed as an absconder. And by November 2017, a warrant is issued for his arrest. That's Thomas. Tracy, Mum of the Year, she's also a bit of a nightmare. So, like I say, she'd been getting into trouble over the years. So petty crimes, really. Drugs, shoplifting. I'm not saying drugs is petty, but shoplifting, those sort of things. So also in November of 2017, at the same time, she's arrested. So as it happened, she ends up getting released 2 days later. And they've both been picked up. She's released 2 days later. So that's on with regards to their arrests. Now, we then get to January the 7th, 2018. Both are arrested again for separate crimes. It says that his was again his probation, hers is petty theft again. We then come to January the 25th, 2018. And this is when things start to take a real turn in this story. And there's an anonymous call put through to the police basically saying that Tracy had confided to a cellmate, and this particular cellmate had gone on to tell her sister that her son had been killed by her boyfriend. And this had happened back in November, and she had been forced to bury her son. Now, this apparently is what Tracy had told her cellmate. Now, I've heard the phone call of the said cellmate. Now, the cellmate's identity has been, even in I've seen the police footage of the interrogation of this lady. She completely blurred out. So all her details are completely hidden. So all I can call her is Tracy's cellmate. But basically, her sister I heard the phone call of the cellmate on the phone to her own sister, basically saying, I've got to tell you something. My cellmate's told me that her boyfriend's murdered her son. and she was made to bury him, and it's the same as what happened with our sister years ago. And although it's not connected in any way, it happens just what's the word I'm looking for now? Just you know, when a coincidence, basically. Coincidentally, this cellmate and her sister, their young sister had been murdered years beforehand. So when Tracy, who'd apparently told this cellmate this story about her own son, it had triggered all these things in the cellmate. And so when said cellmate was brought in for questioning, she, like I say, her face is blurred. She genuinely could see she was torn. She felt like she was betraying this woman because Tracy had been showing all these injuries she had from this boyfriend. And this cellmate really thought she was betraying her. And the police were like, look, if there's a dead child out there, we need to know. And maybe, just maybe, what we know about your story with your sister in the past, maybe this could be a child you could help. Maybe, you know, they were understanding with her, but I think they did take this quite seriously, what she was telling them. So they managed to get a judge to agree to release this woman earlier so she would tell her story. So the next day she comes in with her own lawyer and she tells the story of Tracy, who is her cellmate, telling her about her son had been murdered at the hands of her boyfriend. Now, all this cellmate could say was the boyfriend's name was Thomas. It's all she could give away because that's all she'd been told. Police, obviously very clever. The detectives get involved. They trace who this girl's cellmate was, which was obviously Tracy. They knew about Thomas because he had a rap sheet as long as your arm. So this is what happened. So they're Tracy putting all this together. So Tracy herself is then she's then brought in for questioning. Okay, she crumbles really, really, really quickly. And she says that when she'd returned home from jail, do you remember I says that in November 2017, she'd been brought in and she'd been kept in for 2 days? Do you remember? She says that when she came home from those 2 days, that Thomas and Jordan had picked her up from the prison. And when she'd walked in the house, she'd gone in to Jeremiah's bedroom. And she'd gone over to his bed because it was daytime. She couldn't understand why he wasn't getting up to greet her or to say what was going on or even to stir. And she says that he was wrapped up in a white sheet. His eyes were wide open. But it was then that she realised that he was dead. And at this point, little Jeremiah was only 13 years old. And at this point in the story, Thomas and his son Jordan had only been living with this family of Tracy and her 2 children for 5 months. That's all it had been. 5 months. So they all get brought in, okay? Thomas, Tracy, Jordan, and Jeremiah's little sister, they all get brought in. And at first, they all come up with different stories, all of them. Jordan straight away is, oh, no, he's gone to live with family. Tracy was like, I don't know what happened. But it was Jeremiah's younger sister who actually says what had gone on. And she says that when she's talking to the police, she begins this story of what had been happening from when Thomas moved in with this family. And she says that he'd been vile, but absolutely vile from the get-go, from the beginning. He literally moved. He'd switched his abuse from his previous wife, his previous girlfriends, and he just brought it into this family. That's what he'd done. He'd put cameras all around the house quite quickly to keep an eye on them all. He would beat all of them. Tracy, Jeremiah, the younger sister, Jordan himself, although Jordan was a big boy at this point. Don't forget, at this time in the story, Jordan is 19. He's a big lad. I've seen him. So he wouldn't have done too much harm, although Thomas was also a big built man. Okay, so he'd beat them all, including the dogs. The dogs that I was telling you about, the 2 dogs and their puppies, they'd get it as well. Everyone could get it from this man. Everyone could get it. She said he was always in a bad mood. She said she never saw him happy. She never saw him smiling. He was just always in a foul mood, and he was just always out for who he could hit first. And unfortunately, it was Jeremiah that got the brunt of it. For whatever reason, he just honed in on Jeremiah. He would sometimes even get them to fight each other. He'd get Jeremiah and his sister, Jeremiah and Jordan, which was a really, really bad. What's the word I'm looking for? I mean, he's 19, he's 13. How could they fight each other? No, but I don't know what I'm saying. Why would they? You wouldn't do that anyway. But I'm just saying, like, fight each other. Just a complete sicko. Blew my brain. This has. Thomas made himself a homemade spear. A spear that he used to stab at Jeremiah's skin, you know, just for fun. And he'd began beating Jeremiah so badly that Jeremiah had to start using a cane and even a wheelchair to get around, and there would be blood dripping down the cane as he'd be trying to walk. He was forced to wear a dog's shock collar. Where do these thought processes, where do these thoughts come from? So he'd have to wear a shock collar, and he'd have to sleep in a dog's crate. The crate was tiny. It was 26 by 39 inches. So tiny. And that's where Jeremiah would have to sleep. And also, just like most of the stories that I do that are like this, he stops feeding him. He stops allowing anyone else to let him have food. He stops, and he doesn't even let him have water. So the poor lad's starving. He's not allowed water. He's all, as well as being beaten and shocked with a shock collar and being made to sleep in a crate. Just horror, and just how quick this would have escalated for the time frame we're talking about. So then we come to November the 26th, 2017, which was the day they were going to collect Tracy from the jail. Do you remember? So on that day, for some reason, he was out for Jeremiah. Absolutely out for Jeremiah. Thomas was. So he ended up beating him for hours absolute hours. And then he locked him back in the crate afterwards. But then Jordan came along, and he noticed that Jeremiah was asleep. So instead of waking him up like any human would wake another human up or a child up, he starts flipping the crate over and over again for nothing. This is Jordan, like father, like son, like father, like son. So, as much sympathy as we'd have had for Jordan at the beginning of this story, he doesn't deserve any now. He's a grown man. He's 19 years of age. And you can't even say it's because of his dad's influence throughout all those years. He's only just moved back in with him. And he just thinks, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to start torturing this lad just like my dad. So after he'd finished throwing this crate around over and over again that poor Jeremiah was in, he pulls him out because he can see that Jeremiah's still not awake. He's still not waking up. So when he pulls him out, Jeremiah's completely limp. And that's when they realised that Jeremiah had died. That was then. And then they go and collect his mum, wrap him up, and let her find him. I say mum as well. I'm doing this as well. It's just ridiculous. It says that Jeremiah had been really, really weak on that day. He'd had a black eye. This is on the day he'd been murdered. He had a black eye. His tooth had been knocked out. He had infected wounds. Can you imagine the pain this lad would have been in? And she said, this is obviously the younger sister still talking, still relaying this to the police. And she said he was so skinny. He was so skinny. It's probably why Jordan was like just flipping him round, because there was no weight to the poor lad. He was being starved, beaten, tortured. But before they wrapped him in the sheet, Thomas and Jordan, they gave him a bath. They gave this child a bath when he'd already passed. Not to try and... I thought when I first heard it was, were they trying to revive him? Were they trying to bring him back? No. They were just covering their own backs. They were trying to get rid of all the blood on him, so then they could wrap him up in his sheet and put him in his bed for his mum to find when she got home. And basically Thomas told them all that if anyone asks where he's gone, just say he's gone to stay with relatives. And he threatened them all that that's what they had to say if anyone asked after him. Okay, Jordan, so that was Jeremiah's sister who relayed this information. Jordan, he added a bit more to it, basically saying that Thomas would beat Jeremiah with brass knuckles, knuckle dusters, steel toe cap boots, the cane. Remember the cane that he was using to actually get around on? He'd beat him with that. The spear, a 5-pound sledgehammer. 5-pound sledgehammer. This lad's 13 years of age. Sledgehammer dropped on his fingers. And Thomas, just for the kick of it, would urinate all over Jeremiah for nothing. None of this. Just for kicks. Just used to do it randomly. By this point, Jeremiah was having to wear like adult nappies all day, all night. And also on that particular day that we're talking about in November, Thomas held poor Jeremiah upside down by his legs and was pounding his head into the ground. I mean, just the day from hell this poor child had. That's Jordan's statement. Tracy's statement, she'd try and put herself in a good light, wouldn't she? Of course she would. Of course she would have. And she said she'd try and give her son Jeremiah food and drink when he was in the crate. She'd try and get him food and water because she'd have to be careful in case Thomas saw anything. You've been with him a couple of months. This is your child. And you're saying you're having to sneak him food and drink. Get out of the house. Okay. She said that after she'd found Jeremiah in the bed and realised that he'd been murdered, quite obviously, Thomas locked her and Jordan in the garage and made them wrap little Jeremiah up in plastic. Then they put him in a plastic container with a lid. They put him in the car and then they drove him to New Mexico Route 503, it said. And then it said she had to watch while Thomas and Jordan dug a grave and put the container in. That was her. Now I know what Jordan's done. I know what Thomas has done. I know it was them. This was her child. I just... Why couldn't she have left them with their grandparents? You know, why couldn't she have left them with their aunt and uncle originally, or the grandparents where they'd gone to? Why couldn't she leave them alone? Why take them back if this was what she was going to allow because of her boyfriend? Okay. So once the police had found out where little Jeremiah had been buried, they went and found him. But by this point, it had been 2 months. He'd been buried in that plastic container for 2 months. Sorry for that. Mitzi's on one. But the really sad part about this is no one even noticed he was missing. No one, because he wasn't at school, family. No one even noticed this boy was missing for 2 months. Nothing. So after that, the police went round to the home while they were all, in giving their statements and everything. The police had gone round to the home and they found blood all around the bedroom, basically all around the home, and it was found to be little Jeremiah's blood just splattered everywhere. So an autopsy was done on him. Now, don't forget, his body wasn't found for 2 months. But the autopsy found that the cause of death was blunt force trauma. His manner of death was obviously homicide. And what they found on him was old and new injuries. So many of them. His jaw had been fractured multiple times. Not once, not twice, multiple times. To the point where his jawbone was poking through his gums. Do you remember I said the sister said that he on the day that he was beaten to death, that he had infections that had just been left to get worse. He had a bone, his jawbone forced into his gums. He had a dislocated eyeball. I don't think I've ever heard that. I don't think I've ever heard of that injury. There was questions of him being sexually assaulted. There was injuries to him that they couldn't fully rule in that he'd been sexually assaulted, but they couldn't rule it out either. So we genuinely don't know. But he had rips in his scalp, his cheeks, his ear. He had a broken hand, broken rib. His child was just, he was just beaten. It's just so sad. It's just so sad what this grown man done to this boy. And not just him, he dragged his son into it as well. You know, I don't think the son really fought against it. Maybe he thought he had the power now. I don't know. But he could have got help. Even if the so-called mother wouldn't go and get help, he could have gone and got help. Okay, so we get to January the 29th, 2018. This gets worse just for a split. Just to let you know, you're gonna actually feel sick in about 3 seconds probably. January 29th, 2018, Thomas was questioned. February 2018, he's charged. On the 27th of April 2018, Thomas is found dead in his cell. He'd hung himself with his bedsheet. Absolute coward to the end. When I was researching this, I was like, please tell me this guy gets death penalty. Please tell me this bloke gets the death penalty. No. Kills himself. Absolute rotten little man. After beating every girlfriend he'd ever been with, beating a 2-month-old baby, you know, and then murdering a 13-year-old little boy. And he couldn't deal with the consequences of that, and he killed himself. Absolute rotten little man. Okay, March 2018, Tracy's charged. She pleads guilty. And what it was is that was in March. Obviously, he didn't kill himself till the April. She was going to be witness and, you know, testify against him and his son Jordan, but she didn't get the opportunity because obviously he beat her to it basically. Now she got 12 years. Mum of the Year did. She got 12 years. I mean, okay, she wasn't there on the day it happened. I understand that. And even if she wasn't involved in the beatings of her son, but you stood there and watched it. You knew what it was going on with him. You knew what he was doing to him. And then you go along with wrapping your son in plastic and then sit in the car and then watch as they dig his grave. And I'm supposed to feel sympathy for that. I won't even tell you what I wrote down. April 2018, Jordan has also been charged. He pleads guilty. His defence starts going along the PTSD route for what he'd gone through in his upbringing. But it was proved that he used to use the shock collar. It wasn't just Daddy Dearest Thomas. He used to use the shock collar, and he used to use the spear on Jeremiah as well. He used to get his kicks out of it too. And they've said he could have actually been the one who killed Jeremiah with the flipping of the crate over and over again. So it took till 2021, but he got 21 years. Again, I won't tell you what I've written down for him. But I don't know. I felt really empty when I got to the sentences of these people. Not least that the coward of the story, killed himself before anything could be done. But the 12 years and the 21 years, it was just, I just felt so empty when I was finishing this story. I just felt so empty. I'm sorry she's at it again. Felt so empty. There's questions afterwards, like why wasn't it noticed that he wasn't in school, things like that. There was I never know how to pronounce this, but a vigil done around the area where they'd lived by all the neighbours. They'd done that in February of 2018 because they all felt so guilty, the neighbours did, because they didn't know, they didn't realise that was going on in the house. There was a woman who says she drove past that house every day, she just didn't know. And the crazy part of it is that all them neighbours, and you see in one of the vigils where the one's she's getting so upset talking about Jeremiah, and I never heard that the mum was ever like that. The neighbours seem to feel worse and feel guilt that his mum didn't. I mean, does she know? I don't know. I mean, now as in 2024, I don't know, but I just thought the neighbours felt worse about this child than his own mum did, which I just thought was so sad. And yeah, that was the appalling Jeremiah Valencia story. I just thought it's the time frame as well. It's the time frame again. I've done a few of these, and these step parents, when they come into these children's lives, it's like they don't hang about, do they? It's a child goes from alright, Jeremiah wasn't having the most normal life with his so-called mum, but it goes from chugging along to just being destroyed at the hands of these bullies and cowards, and absolutely heartbreaking. It was a dislocated eyeball. It's like I'd never even heard of that injury. So yeah, that was the appalling Jeremiah Valencia story. Thank you for being here again. Thank you for joining me again. I'm just going to go and have a look at my comments. How are we all? I did see something at the corner of my eye. Sometimes I think women are worse. Yes, they are, Warwick. Absolutely agree. Yes, Warwick. Sorry, reading it with my gob open. Yeah, there is a difference. Yes, we were definitely disciplined. But yeah, it was never taken too far. Not like that. And we always felt very loved. We always knew we were loved. So there's definitely a big difference between... Oh, sorry, is it you put that, Tiff? Sorry. Yeah, definitely a big difference between the two. There absolutely is. Do you know, I think it's a different time now. I think when your child's small, if they keep going to running the road or touch a fire, things like that, I think when they're very young and they don't understand, I think a tap on the hand is something they tend to understand a lot more than you going, no, Johnny, don't do that. So I think there are times when a tap you know, can help, but not for what, not what I talk about in these cases. Absolutely not, absolutely not. But you know, I do think there are times when the odd tap is something that can. Oh God, God. If you're watching tomorrow and you're wondering where I'm going with this, it's just what there's a discussion in the comments, and I know because I've got my own children, and I know when they were very very young, sometimes they I'll be yeah, if when they were very very young and they were putting themselves in a dangerous position, running at something or something, yes, I would tap their hand. I mean, tap, tap, tap. That would be all it would be, but it'd be enough for them to say, oh, you know, won't do that again, you know, kind of thing. And I've got to admit, um, I've never done it again. Never needed to. They're good kids and they listen. And, you know, I understand that in years gone past, it was the response to everything, really. It was like, walking past that. There you go. You know, it's a different time now, and I think it's good because in these circumstances they stand out so much now because those things aren't the norm anymore. So not that the story I've just done would have ever been the norm, but it stands out even more so now, which I'd like to think, well, you'd like to hope it would be more noticeable now. But you just can't tell sometimes, can you? And yes, she would, Warwick. Yes, she would. And I did say that. I think he said that the other day. He would enjoy it. He would. So yeah. I don't know if you'd actually resolve anything. Do you know this throughout that whole story has been fabulous. Could you hear it? Could you hear it? I'm allergic to pain, so could you hear it going? Because if you couldn't, I'm going to have to listen to the story back. Because if you couldn't, this could be my new thing. Because it's the spray. I was just spraying under the camera. And it's fab. It's just stopped me having this sheen on my face throughout the whole story. Every time I'd see it happening, I'd just be spraying my legs. Oh, I didn't show you. You know, sorry, Warwick. It's a bit of a girly thing. But do you remember you saw my pink one? Oh, you can't hear it. Excellent. Remember you saw my pink one the other day? This is what I mean. You can't see. And I've got more of a tan. You can't see. But this is the black one. Would you like to see? Let me show you. Let me just show you. I might not even need to. Oh, yeah, I need to stand up. Let me show you. Look. Look. I now have the black one on. Isn't it fabulous? Sorry, Worry. Fashion conversation and all that. But yeah, I now have the black one. I'll show you my dusky pink one on Thursday. I have to take my chances because we don't get the chance, do we? So when there's a bit of sun, I like to get my summer stuff out. But I'm glad you can't hear it. Anyway, who did we have left? Is it just you and Warwick in those comments? Who have we had coming and going tonight? It's been crazy, hasn't it? I thought I was going mad, and then I'm trying to give the benefit of the day and be like, is Hayley here too? Oh, Hayley, you're still here. Excellent. I am killing it. Do you know why? Because I'm just a fashion over. I'm a fashion over with my water fan and everything, and my hundreds of the same outfit. I don't know who I think I am. I'm fabulous. New watch Evan. Was it Evan? Bradley. There was a Bradley as well, wasn't there? There was a Bradley. I've seen a few. There was a God one. What was going on? Do you think it just popped up? Oh, Warwick, I want to tell you as well. I heard something yesterday, I think. on one of the channels that I watch. I watch a lot of reactor channels. I did see, yes, I saw the Bradley. And I've heard that if you say certain words in your videos, you know, you were saying you don't get the notifications. You didn't resist it. Look, you've said it. You've said it now. At least you didn't say it while I was halfway through the story anyway, which is good. Yes, I am just washing up and doing the way. Oh, excellent. Excellent. That's good. Oh, so you missed me flashing my outfit then, if you're just listening to me. Yes, anyway, sorry, sidetracked. Just blowing the fan on my legs. Yes, sorry, my God, I can't keep a thought in my head today. So, if you use certain words in your stories, you know, you were saying, Warwick, you don't get notifications, or if anyone else doesn't. I know some do and some don't, so I don't know what that's about. But apparently, the notification bells, it's good for nothing at the minute. I just can't, I find it really hard to, you know what I'm like, I've got, mine's always going off on the, off. It does that. That's why I have to have notes in front of me. But yes, so if you're saying certain words on your videos, YouTube doesn't like notify people of your stories or of your live. Apparently, the rest of your case, no, it's just the concentration. That's all it is. But yeah, so Warwick, you came to me straight away because I thought, well, Warwick always says that he doesn't get notifications for when I'm going live. So I was like, I wonder if there's a thing, because you've all got to have noticed all the different references for words on videos these days, when you have to if you're saying someone's been raped, they have to say grape, which I can't do it. I can't do it. How can I do a serious story about a serious crime and then go, oh, he graped her? I'm not doing it. And I think that could be why it's affecting. I think that's what it is, Warwick. I think it's because I don't, and I didn't on my pre-recorded ones either, did I? I don't, what's the word? Like, what's the word I'm looking for now? You know, when you, not cover things, but, oh my God, I can't, someone help me out with that word. What's the word I'm looking for? A censor. I don't censor. Yes, if you say drugs or sex, you have to say schmugs or shit. Stop it. Is that real? Schmugs or shit. Stop it. You're doing that deliberately just to get me to say it. Are you taking the mic? I can't. Is that real? I knew about grape. I knew suicide self-cancel. Or unaliving yourself. It's like, I'm not doing it. I can't do. I already mark up my sister. Just seen sis. Say, all right, I'm not doing myself any favours with the keeping my mind on one thing. Unaliving, that's right. Self-cancel and unaliving, I've heard them too. And I'm, no. I already mark up that it's not for children. I already do that. And if they want to make it as an over 18, okay, do that. But I'm not. I'd feel like, I find it hard sometimes anyway, if I look in the comments and there's something funny or there's something inappropriate, to keep a straight face. Could you imagine me stood there going, she was getting done for schmugs, and he unalived himself? I'd have had to have used so many of those terms in this story already. No, I'm not doing it. So I think that could be Warwick. Do you get notifications, Tiff? Do you get them? Like, did you get a notification tonight? Although I was really late tonight, weren't I? Because I'm not doing it. Do you? I wonder why Warwick doesn't then. Oh, I know, no, I'm awake, Warwick. Fully, fully, fully. Did have another channel that got taken down. My sister will tell you. I had to, if I wanted this one, I had to take down the other one. I'll just leave it at that. Try not to get too involved in this because as I can't go into that because they leave these up, and I do these stories for a reason because I've got a real interest in it. But around 2020, I started, like a lot of people, I started to get an interest in a lot of other things. And I was like, oh, wow, really? Okay. Yes, dude, she was on OnlyFans before. You're a div. You're a div. But I thought I'd try my hand at another YouTube channel, Warwick, a couple of years ago. And I started to notice that nothing was being no views were coming through on this channel. And I still think, to be honest, there's something going on. So no, fully awake, Warwick, fully awake. Not woke, awake. I'll leave it at that. I'm going to get done now. I'm going to get done. Videos and taking down everything. Yes, but that was a long time ago, that one. Hi. They don't even really speak, do they? They're very funny, them ones are. Just kicking the feet up in the air. Ridiculous. Look what you're doing. You too, excellent. We have lots. So, okay, right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for joining me again. Bit of an interesting one this evening with our visitors. I don't know what that was. I don't know why. It's a crazy babe station. I forgot about babe. Is babe station still a thing? I don't suppose it would be now that OnlyFans is out, would it? I don't suppose it'd be a thing anymore. See what I mean? You've got like the likes of OnlyFans, and I'm here being told I've got to say grape. Stop it. Ah, hello, Mom. Oh, you're in time for my... Look, I'm having to do it like this. Have you got your sound up? Is your sound up? Sound? Is it up? Because you're in time for my jingle. I nearly forgot. Definitely wrong on views and looks. Thank you, Warwick. I know. Do you agree? Oh, have you got your sound up? Excellent. Yeah. We're just discussing why I'm not getting the views, and yeah, they're claiming I'm being naughty, Mum, and I'm not. But yes, Warwick, I agree, and I think it was from my other channel. I think that's what happened, and I don't think I managed to pull them back yet either. But do you want to hear my jingle, Mum? Do you want to hear? So if you're watching tomorrow or even watching now, I'd appreciate if you'd like to join my Patreon. It's patreon.com/JessRose5472. Otherwise, if you'd like to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Look, at it. Look. I'm not sweating. It's this. Look, I didn't show you. I should do my own adverts as well, shouldn't I? That's what I should do. I'll probably get done for that as well. Look, comment, and subscribe, guys. Right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'm back at 8 o'clock on Thursday with another one for you. Thank you, Warwick and Hayley. And Mum, thank you. And my moderator extraordinaire who had to be on fire this evening. And I'll see you all on Thursday. So have a lovely couple of days, and I'll see you then. Bye, Mum. Bye, Warwick. Bye, Tim. Look, comment, subscribe. Not Hayley. Look, comment, subscribe, guys. Oh, no. See, my finger's in there now as well. I got used to not having my finger in it.